Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Shanasia Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. And just like that, we're back with another amazing episode of the Her Voice Shines podcast. I am your fabulous host, Shanasia Washington, streaming from the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. And you guys know it's no secret. It's one of my favorite places to be because we bring the best guests. We have the most authentic conversation, and we really allow our voice, as the podcast says, to let their voice shine. And without any further waiting time, you know the drill. Our guest comes to the stage, they tell us their name, where they're streaming from, and they jump right into their story. And here we go with our amazing guest for today.
Hi, my name is Iwona Fluda, and I'm streaming today from Bern, Switzerland. And I am very excited to be here today and to share a bit about myself and my story. And I can tell you the overarching idea about my life is these days related to creativity and absolutely anything related to creativity, creative skills, creative businesses. How can we spark creative ideas and how can we ignite the spark also within us as human beings? I'm very much passionate about creating, designing, and leading different creative experiences. I do it for the public, but also for organizations. And these days, my focus is actually on organizing and leading an experience in Bali in November this year. Our conference under the title People, Place, Planet is going to happen early November. But then that's just kind of a part of my journey. I can tell you my journey started already many years ago, we could say, and the overarching idea was always about creativity and transformation and finding the right ways to make things happen. I have a great bias, if you wish. I call it a great bias, which is very action based. So I'm action biased. I really love making things happen. I don't think too much about things at the very beginning. I feel like everything is possible and we can always make things happen for ourselves, but also for our community and for the global world in general. It's all, I feel like, related to the trust in ourselves, but also the trust in the world. And I feel like when we have the power to have an idea, then we also could always take a chance and the leap of faith and go with the idea and make happen whatever comes to our mind, whatever comes to our hearts. And I'm talking about this because very often we forget how powerful we are actually as human beings and how powerful our ideas can be. And there are three kind of golden rules that I would love to share with you today that actually have been following me over the last years, and they're basically my north star, if you wish. So the first rule is around ideas, which means for me every idea is a good idea. There's no such thing as bad ideas. The second rule is about sky, which means, well, the sky is the limit, and you can be very wide with your ideas. And the third one is trust, which means exactly what I mentioned: trust in ourselves, trust in the world, but also trust in our journeys. And that's the three, I call them golden creative rules, that have been following me over the last years and really allowed me to ignite my inner spark and to create this inner spark also within the communities I'm part of. And I feel like that's everything that I would love to share. I'm just extremely excited about life as a journey. I'm just extremely excited about how we can navigate this journey as individuals, but also as communities, and how can we help each other to be the best versions of ourselves every single day, because that's, I believe, what we are here for. And how can we also support each other on our journeys, because that's the second rule, what we are here for, really, the second part of our journeys. So I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm excited to share a little bit of my private and professional stories and how I have navigated different challenges during my lifetime so far. I'm sure there will be other challenges coming my way, but right now I hope that I'm equipped enough with all of the different tools to encounter them and to make sure that I'm going through them as soon as possible with as best results as possible in general. So that would be everything.
It's not everything, but but
For
we're gonna get
now.
into it. Look, that's not everything. We're definitely gonna get into it for now. But I love this idea that we have the power, right, to own our ideas and then walk it into implementation and fruition. So thank you for sharing there. And one of the things you said, I hope I have the tools to continue this journey. But guess what? If you don't, it's a whole world out here for you to get them. And what you've accomplished so far allows you to keep that momentum. You said that you have taken on your ideas by the horn and that you're actively walking out doing these things. And that's the energy of this podcast, because women have to see that despite challenges, we have women out here that's still doing it. I want to go here because COVID was such a pivotal time for so many businesses. And I know for you specifically, you not only had the pandemic, but you had other things that were going on in that period. And then also too, I think it was a time where you shifted your services also too in that. I want you to talk about that because I think that was probably a really transformative period for you. From what we've researched, you have to let us know because there were different levels of that. Talk to us about your kind of battle with COVID, and then talk about how that affected your business and then that pivot post COVID.
That's a great question. Thank you so much. So first of all, the pandemic, I feel like influenced really everyone, the global situation, and it disrupted lots of businesses. My business wasn't the exception in this case. But what I learned from that experience was that we just exactly need to surround yourself with people who will support us through these different challenges. And that's what I had at the time. Really clearly, I had really an amazing community that helped me to navigate through the pandemic in my business, and that helped me to pivot from more like offline space for experiences that I ran before to more online world. But also I pivoted in a way that I just started to offer completely different services. In this case, that were for me digital marketing services. But the second part that happened actually 2 years after the pandemic started in 2022, early February, was that I got sick with COVID. And it was absolutely unexpected. I consider myself a very happy person at that time. And what happened was that I was blessed, I can tell that right now, with a long COVID. And it took me over 10 months to get back on my feet and to really reconsider everything, if you wish. I feel like that's why that was much more transformative for me in general than the pandemic itself when it started. And the reason behind is that for many months I just wasn't able to really do anything. I wasn't able to walk to work. I was physically very weak. I was mentally very weak because I got this amazing brain fog for many months. I couldn't make decisions. I couldn't really work on many things. I had sparks of inspiration, and at times I mostly just sat down and wrote my ideas. And what happened was that, of course, my business was extremely affected by this. I lost my clients. I didn't get new clients. It was really challenging. I almost got bankrupt because I didn't have, I live in Switzerland, it's an extremely expensive country to live in, and I didn't have much of a backup financially at that time. And what I learned from that, there are many lessons actually to tell you. So first of all, again, it was a blessing. And it was a blessing in a way that I really learned a lot about myself and my strengths and my endurance, if you wish, not just mentally and physically, but also on this human level, that I just decided for myself that I will go through that no matter what. I will make things happen, even though there were moments of doubt. And the other part was that it really redefined the way how I live my life in general. During difficult times, what happens, and what happened for me as well, was that I just lost many relationships. I just didn't have the capacity to talk to people as I did before. I didn't have the capacity to support my friends or support communities I was part of as I did before. And it was really challenging for me then to realize that many of the relationships just basically fell apart. And that was really challenging at that time. But right now I understand, because I feel like during the difficult times, we just get to know our communities and our people we are having relationship with much more better than during the normal times, if there's a normal in general. And what also happened, would really help me to and kind of to navigate things, but also then to redefine everything and transform everything in my life, is that right now I just have a different priorities than before. Before I was a super hardworking person, just having all of the different goals set up and, being really extremely focused. I am still extremely focused and I still have goals and I still work very hard, but my work is different because these days how I work is different. The people I work with are completely different. I just choose my collaborations and relationship completely differently than before. And I really love to create collaborations and relationship based on mutual alignments and values. And that's, I feel like, the most important lesson for me, to be surrounded by people who genuinely want to support us. It doesn't matter that in business, in our personal life, in any type of relationships that we have, we need to be surrounded by people who truly want good for us and want to support us on our journey, and just let go of anything that doesn't support us. I think that was for me the most important lesson, because I feel like we can give so many different chances in life towards people and projects and businesses in general, but at some point it's time to let go and to encounter something new, to explore new worlds, if you wish.
And yeah, you know that letting go can definitely be tough at times. Or sometimes you want it to work, or you hope it will work. You want it to, but sometimes it just doesn't. So that letting go is such a pivotal part of our journey, and I've struggled with it personally. But now, being a little bit more advanced and saying like, no, if this is not good for the overall picture, it's better to sever the relationship now before this thing gets out of hand. And also to want to say from that segment, I think sometimes when we are in these very, very hard situations, we don't realize the strength that we capture when we get to the end of it, because it just seems so hard in the thing, right? It's so
Totally.
hard. And I'm in a
Totally.
period now where I'm like, oh my gosh, what else is going to happen? I can't take it. I can't take anymore. It's always this thing. But then I'll get like a month down the line. I'm like, whoa, my goodness. Like look how far you've gone, and look how you will look at other situations in the future based on this one. So it's always good that we kind of keep that frame of reference when we're thinking about hardship. I want to go here because it was one thing that stuck out about this project that you're working on, about getting signatures, for the moon. It sounds like I have to hear about it, right? Because you read it, but no, you have to hear it, because there was a certain number. I mean, you're looking for a certain amount of signatures. I want to know, how did that number even come about? What is the project? And just walk us through this project, because it seems like it's something very interesting.
Oh, thank you so much for the question. Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk about this, because that's for me exactly the combination between, of creativity, technology, and science that I really, really love in my life. The Moonshot project actually started by pure chance encounter, if you will, or by this amazing serendipity. I spoke this year at one conference in Davos, here in Switzerland, and usually when I speak at the conference, when I had presentations, I have a PowerPoint presentation full of digital art, because that's what I have been doing for a while right now as well. And after my presentation, one of the a gentleman came to me and he was like, I really, really love your art pieces. Do you feel like you could create something for us and for our moon project? I said, of course. Why not, right? I was so excited about this. And after that, and I'm still excited about this, because it was such a great privilege, kind of, for me, reflect on that, coming back from illness, and then from financial challenges, and then having this person in front of me telling me that I can send something to the moon. Like, yeah, I'm in. And then after that, I started to reflect on this. I felt like it would be so amazing to allow and to enable other people to be part of a moon project in general. So what can we do? And I started to collaborate with my friend Cornelia and with Ben, who is the founder of Liveship, the company out of California, and collaborating with. And I realized that after the pandemic, what we need is the notion of unity, hope, dreams, and wishes in general. And that's how we came up with the idea for Moonshot celebration and for sending wishes to the moon. Talking about the numbers, so we are right now collecting 384,400 wishes, and this is because of the distance between the Earth and the Moon in kilometers. And we decided that that would be the right number to make this happen. And yes, it's a global initiative. We have lots of different ideas what to do with the wishes when we collect them, or at least a small amount of them at the very beginning, because we just started. We want to create books, digital art, galleries, I'm actually discussing right now different collaboration with different people. But for me, what is really interesting about this project is that I really believe that everyone should have the capacity or the space to be part of something bigger to themselves, and that could be this moon project. That's why I invite everyone to be part of this, to submit your wish, and you will also receive a certification after we send it to the moon. So that's everything in a nutshell.
I mean, you make it sound like, oh, that's everything. No, this is actually like a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, of course. That's why I always say, look, I honestly just root for everyone who creates something out of, like, for really from scratch, because I understand, for so many years I have been developing different business ideas and projects and collaboration. I just know exactly how much work it is to put something together and to launch something. So yeah, it's lots of work if you wish, but there are just so many amazing opportunities coming in because of that idea. And I'm so grateful that at that time, Ben came to me and we discussed this topic, and then I got this idea to include other people and to make it really a big project. So I feel like, as they say, the sky is not the limit, right? So we can be very, very wide with our ideas, and I'm sure there will be other ideas coming in, other things that will come my way, and I will just decide to make something out of this. And that's one of the lessons that I had over the last years, is that I really love to take an idea and make something out of this, because ideas are just absolutely everywhere, but very often we just forget that we are also able and we have the power to make things happen. And from such a small thing like my speech at that time in Davos, we have this huge project right now, and I'm just so excited to make this happen for our communities globally.
Okay, and just to reiterate, people from all over the globe can submit a wish, and it's not
Exactly.
localized to one. Okay, I don't want to miss this. We are going to have a different segment for, of course, contact information. But let people know, how can they submit a wish to the moon?
So basically, you can go to my website, which is creativeswitzerland.com/moonshot, and then you're on the page where you can learn more about this project. But also, you can find me on LinkedIn under my name and surname, and that's how we can connect. I can also guide you through this.
I want to go here because with such heavy projects, and then there's like a lot of moving parts. I mean, there's a collaboration piece, and then you're trying to find the right team. You're trying to get these things done. Do you have all the outside project work that doesn't relate to this project at all? There are other clients. Where are you finding balance, and what are you doing to refuel?
That's probably one of the questions I have no idea how to answer, really, because we are all just so individual, and it's really a personal thing how to deal with lots of work in general, with lots of many moving pieces and lots of things happening. So what I try to do, I really don't I work a lot, but this is one thing I need to tell you: I really love working. I really love making things happen. So for me, my work doesn't feel like work itself. It really feels like joy. It really feels like I have this great opportunity or this great capacity right now to make things happen. I'm just doing it with my full heart and all of the and my full commitment in general. So I don't feel like that I need that much time or that much to really refuel myself or to refuel my energies. But what I need is, when I sense that, okay, right now I'm just tired and I just need to take a break, then I go for a walk, then I go and lie down, then I listen to a podcast, I do different things kind of to switch off my brain for a while, and then I come back. And what I learned actually from long COVID is exactly this: that when I feel like, okay, it's enough for now, because whatever, I'm tired, then I take a break. Before, I couldn't allow myself to take a break and to take care of myself, but right now kind of does my default as well.
Oh, that's so good. But touching on the, like, even in the space of like podcasting, like I have found that I haven't needed a lot of fuel to do this, because I feel like, hey, this is organic conversation. I'm literally wanting to know about these guests. I don't have to make it feel like anything else. So when you find that place of work, I mean, yes, you're human, our bodies get tired, but it's definitely a different type of energy that's exerted when it's something that you're passionate about. I'm not saying that I don't get tired, but I do find myself operating in a different level when I'm in this space. It's very natural, it's very relaxed. So highlighting that is something, it really is a cause to find the thing, that your soul says yes to, because you exhibit a different energy when you work in it. So I definitely can agree with that. Now, I want you to talk about this too, because also to a portion of your business, and we'll get back to that just briefly. But I know that you also too have a podcast and like a LinkedIn newsletter. I want to bring insight there so that you can tell viewers how to get connected and really what are the main themes of both that podcast as well as the LinkedIn newsletter.
Similarly to you, I really love this type of organic conversations. And I started my LinkedIn newsletter, Creative Bites, 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now, where I actually was sick. And that was one of this kind of ideas that I had and thought like, maybe that's something I can do right now. So I sat down sometimes and just wrote some text. And then at some point I decided to post the text on LinkedIn. And after 2 years, right now with over 21,000 subscribers, I can tell you, I didn't expect this to be any huge, but I just wrote down out of my curiosity. And that's because that was one of the very few things I could do at that time. And it developed pretty quickly, unexpectedly for me. And I discovered for myself that the reason behind it was because I was really just writing from my heart, if you will. Writing would really stuck to me, what I was interested in general. I write mostly stories about creativity, entrepreneurship, and communications. It can really be different from, like, every week can be different, and I just allow myself to be very playful with that. Last week I wrote about AI, new technologies in general, and nuclear power, and how both revolutions actually can go wrong, but it can also go into a very good direction. So that's one of the topics I covered, but I cover everything from entrepreneurship, education, how AI influences our lives, how creativity is important for business. So there are many different topics. And out of this, at some point, I have been interviewing people, if you wish, for a very long time right now. I'm just naturally very curious, and I just love asking questions and understand things. And at some point, it just clicked with me, and I felt like, how about I will just start recording these conversations, because there are very often just very deep and very to the point, and I'm just super curious to learn different things from people and about them and how they think and what they work on and what they are passionate about. And at some point I just started to record that, and that's how Creative Bites podcast was established this year. And I will definitely continue the conversations, because again, similarly to you, I just love these organic conversations where we can just pour our souls and hearts into a topic, and we can also create safe space where we can just express ourselves in a different way than usually. So yeah, that's the journey.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, it is definitely something about that, and that was kind of how this got started too. They were like, Sinead, just start recording the conversations, right? You have them, all the time. You just put it on camera. We're sure that you wouldn't change anything about it, and I really don't, honestly. I want to go hear about the services, because we talked about them a little bit, but I want people to understand really more about the transformation that you create through your services. So just kind of tell us about the services, and then how people can, of course, find those services if they were in need of it.
Sure, thank you. That's really kind of it. You're asking about this. So basically what I do, I design and lead creative innovation workshops. It can be for companies, but it can be also for the public. I also travel globally for public speaking. So, if I have an opportunity to go somewhere, I would just go. I'm very flexible with traveling these days. So that's part of my business, running, designing and leading creative experiences, but also public speaking, basically drafting and delivering captivating speeches at conferences mostly. So that's one part. The other part is, which I'm extremely passionate about, is basically combining creativity in business. So that's why I'm always talking about, I'm very open to all of the type of different collaborations, because we never know where the spark of creativity comes in and where we can really create something together. So I combine creativity, creative skills, design thinking, all of the other different innovation tools to create projects. So that's how Moonshot celebration actually started as well. So that's what I do as well. So if there is a company that needs, something new and they work on different ideas, and I can jump in and just make this happen for them as well. So that's everything, I feel, what I'm focusing on these days. And because, the Moonshot celebration just takes so much energy and time, and just needs also so much attention at the moment, that I really want to focus on that in the coming months.
So that Moonshot celebration, is that annual? Like, talk about the celebration just a little bit, because I think we may have just missed a little bit. Just give us a little bit of insight to how that runs, so we better understand what that is.
Sure. So the Moonshot celebrations were exactly related to the wishes that are going to be sent to the moon. So what we are doing, of course, it's not just about gathering the wishes and sending them to the moon, but it's also about celebrating the possibilities. And the Moonshot celebration is basically their events globally that we are going to run. And the first one is going to happen here in Switzerland at the end of October, but then with each rocket launch, because of course we are going to be part of multiple rocket launches over the next years, we are going to organize different celebrations globally in different places. We start here in Switzerland because I'm based here right now, but we also plan to do it in different places depending on the collaborations we are going to create.
Oh, I love it, and thanks for that. Yeah, this is I see this like a full moving machine, but that's why I had to ask the question to make sure that I understood that. So, given that you have this big project, and you, of course, you probably have other things on the side, kind of what's next in terms of a direction for your company's services that you may want to bring on, and just maybe what even just makes you happy, like on the side. What is that next looking like for you?
There are many things I cannot talk about. They're on my table. But one of the things I really have been enjoying over the last years, and that's actually my background, also professionally. That's how I started my business many years ago. I started to offer marketing consultancy. So basically, from strategy to implementation. So that's something I really love doing. I really love guiding people through different marketing possibilities, through different structures, through different strategies, whatever is needed and possible for them. So that's partially one of the things I could probably still do in the near future, whenever is needed. But the other things, I cannot talk about them right now, unfortunately, because there are big secrets for everyone. But once they're online, then everyone's going to know.
Okay, I'll be looking around, snooping around, trying to figure out what I can see. Since we can't talk about it right now, I'll put my spy eye on in the coming months.
You can do it. You know what is fascinating? I can just tell you what is fascinating, what I have discovered for myself or the last month, especially really looking from hindsight and seeing, how my life has changed and transformed over the last years, is that I really love setting up like huge goals for myself. Like, honestly, the moon is not the limit, if you wish. And making steps to make things happen in general for myself, but again, not just for myself, mostly also for the communities that I'm part of and for the global world in general. So what I'm passionate about, what I'm fueled by this day is actually this endless possibilities, I would say, that we have in this world, and how much we have the power really to shape whatever we like and whatever we would love to make happen in general.
Yeah, I think for me, post pandemic, I think my goals sort of become like audacious. I guess because it just shook the world up so bad. It's like, okay, if not now, then when? But I do find myself like thinking, yeah, like maybe before this, you would have never dreamed of goal like this. But I find myself finding great comfort in those bold goals and taking the steps to get there. So whenever I see a woman that's, hey, this is the goal, this is what I'm standing on, I always give them roses because there's so many that won't do that and really won't believe and move toward the calling of that. So I just want to tell you, thank you for your strides in that and sharing that here with our audience today. But this is the part of our show where we get to give you your final thoughts. And what that means is that we want, if anybody was to skim past this and just see this one segment, what would be the best thing to fully embody you, and what should they get from this time that this beautiful time, I should say, that we've had with you today?
I would say be creative and go for whatever you like to go for. Really, the sky is not the limit. The moon is not the limit. Be audacious with your ideas and make inspired actions. That's actually the most important part. Just be very much action bias. That's exactly when the magic happens. That's exactly when the right people are showing up for you, the right opportunities are showing up for you, the money is there. So be yourself. Trust yourself, trust the world, trust the universe, and just go for that, whatever it is for you.
And yes, I always have a mentor that says, in terms of authenticity, and then when you get in what's called the flow, when you finally get in the flow and you're standing in what you want to do, you're being authentic, seriously, that's when it seems like the people come, then you're like, I finally got it. I'm not in any troubles, but I finally got where I'm supposed to be. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. I had a great time. Thank you for sharing about your amazing project. And of course, I am wishing you all of the best wishes. I know that you'll get it done. And to all of our ladies that are listening here, it has been another fabulous episode of Her Voice Shines. I always tell you, I do not skimp on my guests. I bring the best guests. You can't tell me. I don't. But I love you. You can't get away from that. And we will be back with another amazing episode of the Her Voice Shines podcast in literally no time. And we're out.
Thank you.